Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Spill the Tea with Tommy D. So this week we're going to do a herbal tea. We're going to do specifically a Rooibos Vanilla Chai from a company called Adagio Teas. I've bought a few different of their teas and I wanted to share this one with you guys. Like I mentioned, it is a Rooibos Chai. And what makes it herbal, when you say something's herbal tea, what that means is that there are no actual tea leaves in it. It's just herbal ingredients. So a lot of people are familiar with chais. Fun fact, chai actually just means tea in different languages. So when you say chai tea, you're actually just saying tea. But most people associate a chai with the Indian spices. So the reason why when you say a chai tea, you're usually talking about like an Indian tea because of the specific flavors they use in their teas, like cardamom, cloves, ginger, cinnamon. So it tends to have more of that spicy flavor. So actually chai comes from the Chinese word for tea, cha, I believe it is, just C-H-A. So chai without the I is actually like the Chinese word for tea. So, spicy stuff here. It's a little sweet too. This one actually has the cardamom, cloves, ginger, cinnamon, but it also has orange and vanilla. So when you smell it, it's kind of it definitely is spicy, but also has that subtle sweetness from the vanilla and the oranges. So we're going to do 2 teaspoons of this tea. So usually with an herbal tea, I usually do 3 teaspoons for 5 minutes. We're actually going to do 2 teaspoons for 7 minutes because the steep time for this was 7 minutes, and that's definitely a very long steep time. Before we actually brew this tea, I'm going to talk about the base tea. So usually, I'll show it to you this way. I'm going to put a photo around here, and that way you can see it better. So usually with a chai tea, most people are familiar with it as like a black tea. But you can use any different types of teas for a chai. I've seen a chai oolong, I've definitely had chai black teas, and then there's herbal chai. This one is a Rooibos. So a Rooibos, it translates to red bush. It is a plant from South Africa that is actually part of a legume family. And what it is when you look at a Rooibos tea, you'll see these tiny little red flakes. And that's the Rooibos bush. It's a red bush, and I have the technical name here. I had to write this one down. Asphalthus linearis is Rooibos. That's the bush that it comes from. Rooibos is fantastic for herbal tea because not only is it caffeine-free from the bush itself, it has a nice solid flavor to it, but it also has a lot of good nutrients. So I prefer, when it comes to herbal tea, anytime I drink tea, I feel like I always like to be getting something out of it. So with the Rooibos, it's high in vitamin C and antioxidants, low in tannins, and like I said, naturally caffeine-free. So it's definitely a great alternative if you're looking for something, maybe it's afternoon and you don't want to drink caffeine, but you don't want to have like a chamomile tea that's going to put you to sleep. Rooibos is definitely a really good way to go about it. I also really enjoy the different blends it makes. So this one, like I said, so Rooibos Vanilla Chai from Adagio Tea. It's got the cloves, ginger. Usually I'm not a big ginger person, other than, I did marry one. But usually I like just a little subtle ginger. Like certain heavy chais are a little too much for me, just because it's just not something I'm used to. But I do enjoy one that's a little sweeter. So we have our tea leaves. So this is herbal. So herbal teas, doesn't really matter. You want boiling water for the tea temperature. And the good thing is you can't oversteep an herbal tea. It's not going to get bitter if you let it sit too long. So you could let it, most of the time 5 minutes is enough. You could let it sit for 10 minutes. It's all about like how strong you want it, how much. The point is it's not going to get bitter and it's not going to burn. So in this one you can actually see the big, oh my gosh, look at this. It got like big pieces of bark. And you can see the citrus peels in there. You can see the cloves and cardamom. It's crazy. The herbal teas are really cool to look at. You see all those ingredients. So this one actually, so like I said, we're going to do a 7-minute steep time. All right. Get that going. Now I'm not going to rant for 7 minutes. That's a long time. I don't think I can. It would get weird. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a couple minutes. I'm going to talk about brewing methods. So obviously, if you've been watching my show, you can see that I am a big fan of just the plain old metal strainer here. I enjoy the metal strainers because I view it like if you were in a hot tub and it was a pretty small hot tub and you're like, well, I definitely would rather be in this hot tub by myself than crammed in there with 20 people. And it's the same thing with tea. Like I said, a lot of teas, they like more space to move around, kind of just really infuse all the flavors. That being said, the strainers, they do take up a bit, they're a little cumbersome in the cabinet. So a lot of people are more familiar with something like a tea ball. This is actually like a silicone one. It's a little owl, it pops together. These are definitely good. They're useful. They're small, compact. You can put them in a drawer. They don't take up space. The only thing, so like this one specifically, this little owl here that I got, you could definitely do this with like Essentia. It would definitely work with that Earl Grey. Ones that like something this small wouldn't work for is definitely the oolong tea. You could do it with the Rooibos. I would say you could do like 1 teaspoon and just let it sit in the cup for like 10 minutes. But I definitely, you just want to be careful with like the oolongs because the tea leaves are just not going to have enough space. Depending on the size, you could probably get one that's pretty big as well. So this is another great alternative. So we have strainers, we have our tea ball. So then we have our like, I don't even know, this is like the top of the line when it comes to tea brewing. This is a cast iron teapot. The benefits of cast iron is you do get, like, same thing with cooking with cast iron, you get, like, the iron from the metals and stuff like that. They say it's good for you as far as that goes. This one, you don't have to season, like some people with the cast iron pans, you have to season. This one's actually coated in enamel, so it's really easy to clean. Obviously, this is a little cumbersome. They're pretty heavy. Like, I could definitely knock someone out with this thing. The one thing to know, so this is like, so you always want to make sure you're using the right teaspoon. So like, for example, if you're doing 1 teaspoon per 8 ounces of water, this is like a 37 ounce pot. So you just got to do a little math. I believe it's about like 5.5 teaspoons, somewhere around there. And then before you brew tea in a cast iron pot, you want to run hot water through it to heat up the iron. Because imagine if you're trying to brew a tea at like 195 and you're pouring hot water into cold iron, it's going to cool it down a lot. So I'll usually run some hot water through it, get the iron nice and hot. I also have a nice tea light warmer. So you there's a little tea light in there, put the pot right on there, and you're good to go. And then any of these, they usually come with a metal strainer that just goes in the top. And then everything else is the same. The vehicle, you know, it's like vehicles. You know, each one of these is like a different type of car. You know, some people prefer different ones, and, you know, they're all going to get you to the same place. They're all going to brew you tea. And then the cool thing I love about this is it's really easy to clean, too. You just, like, run some more hot water through it, and it's clean. And it's great if you're having more cups of tea yourself, more than just one, or having some company over. So there's a little few different brewing methods there. In case people were wondering, you could find different steepers. There's tons of different steepers out there. But again, they all work the same. There's no wrong way to do it as long as you're not, you know, throwing it in the top of a Keurig. That's not going to work. As far as everything else right now, quarantine's making me play a lot of video games. I'm not really big into video games that make me do work. Like my biggest issue with a game was this game called Mario Maker. And it's pretty much a Mario game where you have to build, as you play the levels, you have to build and complete the levels. I feel like that's Nintendo's job. They're not paying me to finish this game. You build the levels, I play the levels. That's how this works. I've never really understood it. And also, on top of that, it's a full price game. Like, if you're going to give me half a game, I expect it to be half price. So, like, that's not why I play video games. I just want to be able to do it. Like everybody right now is really into this game Animal Crossing. You pretty much, you get like an island, you get a house, and then you grow food and stuff. And everyone likes it because it's cute little animals and it's a social environment, so you can go to different people's islands. But for me, like if I want a garden, I would just grow my own garden, and then I wouldn't have to go to the grocery store right now and deal with everyone in the masks. Which I feel like everyone in the masks, I can't tell, everyone at the grocery store either looks like they're mad at me or flirting. I don't really know. So I don't really, I'm not into that. And then on top of that, the house you get, it's not even like, you don't just get the house. You have to get a mortgage from a raccoon. So I don't care how cute this slumlord is. I've never once thought, be like, you know what's really, really fun? Debt. No, not fun for me. I don't even, I'm not even when I have a game where I have to make my own character, I put minimal effort in it. Because most of the time the template for a video game character is just a bald white guy. So I slap a beard on it and get right to the action. It's not my speed. I like to keep my video games and my reality separate, which is why I never play Monopoly. Like, I don't like Monopoly because it's just a game that reminds me that if I make too many fiscal mistakes, I either wind up bankrupt or in jail. So that's not, it's not really my speed. No, you know, the other one that everyone used to love to play, I don't think they really do it anymore, is The Sims. And that one was like way too real, because it was just like, well, you get yourself a house, you get yourself a family, you get a job. And like, that's like what I'm supposed to do in real life. And then The Sims always freaked me out, because you would always have like that one friend who was like, yeah, you know, in The Sims you can actually kill people. And you're like, I think I need to keep an eye on you a little bit more, and maybe you need to work out some other issues. So, I don't like realistic games. I just want to, I don't know, drive some spaceship or something. So, that's pretty much it. There's no, like, reason for me to take out I don't want a mortgage in real life. You know? I don't even want to mow a lawn anymore. I want an apartment. I have an apartment, but apartment living. Alright. Cool. So, with the tea, visually, before we brewed it, it was kind of hard to see the ingredients, and I'll definitely take a picture so that way everyone can see it here as well. But this one's really cool because you see after the wet leaves, there's no real leaves, but like you can see the citrus peels like soak up. You can see the Rooibos tea get a little bit bigger. You can really smell the cinnamon, actually. The cinnamon really stands out after the steep process. Alright. So, it looks like a very fall-looking tea. Definitely like a burnt orange almost, which doesn't surprise me because of the red bush. Obviously, Rooibos tea, red bush, and then all the other ingredients in there will give it that spice. It's going to be really hot because we use boiling water. That's another good reason to swirl it in your mouth. It prevents you from burning your mouth, which I've done. So I definitely taste a lot more of the orange than I expected. It's much more citrusy than I expected. I definitely get a lot of the... It's a good combination of sweet and spicy. So, like, it does have a little bit of the kick from the cinnamon and the cloves. And then it also has that that hint of sweetness from the vanilla. It's very crisp. This one, I'd say, you know, medium body to it, and definitely really good. The other thing good right now is, I mean, obviously I'm not a doctor, don't take my word for this, but apparently spices and chai is very good for boosting the immune system. So it's probably a good time to be drinking some chai, but don't go to the doctor because some psychopath with a mustache on a tea show told you that this is good for your immune system. It's just hearsay, I guess you'd say. Hearsay? Should we? All right, never mind. Delicious. Yeah, definitely way more citrusy than I expected. Very, very good. Again, check out Adagio Teas. They have all different types of teas you'll be able to find. I just picked up a bunch of them, so I'll probably do another 1 or 2 teas from Adagio, and I'll go out and seek some other companies out there. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. This has been just another episode of Spill the Tea with Tommy D. Hold on, I forgot to do it. Bada bing. Okay, I already did it. There it is. All right. I really appreciate everyone watching the show. I hope you guys have been enjoying it. And as always, like, subscribe, share, comment any questions you want. I'd be happy to share more knowledge with you and taste any teas that you might be interested in. So once again, Spill the Tea with Tommy D. And as always, have a good one.